It's my grandmother's here, that's why. The overarching theme of my book that gets reiterated over and over again is this idea of the demonstration project. And what that is this American tendency towards committing to commitments, but not committing to the substance underlying that's required to bring about the change that we profess. So the title, "We Hold These Truths to be Self-Evident that all men are created equal," obviously inconsistent with what was happening in the country in 1776. There are a series of American examples of demonstration projects. And I argue in this book, and when I'm making the rounds, that 2008 was yet the latest of many demonstration projects in this country. We got excited about a guy named Barack Obama, Hussein Obama, and the opportunity to create this thing that we've been longing for called post-racialism. And what we found in 2010, that's why this book is critical for this articulation, what we found in 2010 was that Americans were not quite ready for what they professed to be about. And so what we've got to do, right, if we in fact are committed to the words in that document, Declaration of Independence, is to get serious about doing the work that's required to bring about the change. And that doesn't mean you get excited, once a generation about some guy that fits into this mold we've been waiting for. We got to do the hard work after that to sustain it. And so, again, I want people to get upset about 2010. And if you weren't engaged in 2010, when you read this book, you'll get engaged and you'll see why it was such a missed opportunity. And why it's so frustrating to see that 8 years later, we are so far behind where we could be. I'll finish with this. In June of last year, I wrote a piece called "America Needs Donald Trump." And if you didn't read the article, you might think that I'm not a Democrat. So I encourage you to read it. The argument that I made in this article is that nothing big in this country has ever occurred without our backs being totally against the wall. And so I argued in June of last year that a Donald Trump presidency would do more work to galvanize cohesion, right, amongst these disparate parts of the Democratic coalition than we've been able to do on our own for the last 50 years. And I think we're already seeing it, right? We saw it in Washington the day after the inauguration of the Women's March. We're seeing it in response to these asinine executive orders that are coming out of Washington. I am heartened by the response amongst Democrats, but we have to focus in on the next set of off-cycle elections. And that work starts with community organizations, and it starts with having conversations like this. It starts with looking for candidates who kind of express your ideals, and if you can't find it, then run yourself, right? This president, I guess the week before he left office, he encouraged us to stop having conversations on the internet and to go have a coffee with someone and talk about the issues. Right? We have to get back to this hand-to-hand combat in politics. Right? That's how it's meant to be. That's how it works best. And I think that what we're seeing now with Donald Trump is our democracy operating, in a normal fashion. This is what we're supposed to have. A clash of ideas that leads to the right thing. So I hope people aren't too depressed by what's happening right now. I see a light. I may be the only one in the room, but I see a light coming out of this. But we can't miss another opportunity, right? You can't just say, well,
to the next election, though, right?
What's that?
You have to survive to the next election.
No. So it's not survival, right? It's being strategic about how we're going to win the next set of all-cycle elections. Because if we win back the House and win back the Senate, right? That's a big step, right? We can kind of soften some of the blow. That's where the actual action happens. So be hopeful. My book ends on a moment of hope. It isn't all dreary. I do believe we have a way out, but we have to understand the game, how it's played, and get strategic about winning it.
Well, whether it's Cory Booker or Kamala Harris or Michelle Obama or Ron Johnson in 2020, there is hope on the horizon, and it is wonderful to see you all here. Thank you all so much. David, are you here for a little while?
Yeah. I got some books.
Ron Johnson, Ken Lewis? Okay, thank you very much. Have a great night.